Okay, hello boys and girls, welcome to another tutorial. Today, this little tutorial is all about subordinating conjunctions. Now, we know lots about conjunctions already, and we use them in our work all the time and the way that we speak too. So today we're going to be looking at this acronym, I saw bub. Each one of these letters represents a different conjunction, and I'll go through that with you now. I is for if, S stands for since, A for as, W for when, A for although, W for while, A for after, B before, new, until, and B because. Now, some of these might be new to you, some of you might be using them already, which is absolutely fantastic. But what we'll do is we'll have a little look at using these in different sentences and see how they work. So conjunctions are used to join two main clauses together, and they act like the glue really, and they help us to extend our sentences even further. I'll do an example for you now. Nice and simple. The cat sat on the mat. Now this is a clause. I haven't used a conjunction yet. A clause is when we've got a sentence that makes sense on its own. So we've got a subject, a verb, and it's clear that that subject is doing something. These conjunctions, subordinate conjunctions, join two clauses together. I'm going to use the conjunction while. While is now going to introduce another idea or another clause. So the cat sat on the mat while the dog sat on the chair. Okay, so while has joined the cat sat on the mat, which is one clause on its own that makes sense, and it's joined it to this clause here, the dog sat on the chair. If I was to take this part of the sentence out and write it down here on its own, the dog sat on the chair, we can see that that sentence makes sense on its own too. This is also another main clause. So subordinate conjunctions can join two clauses together to extend our sentences, to add more detail, to give different ideas. And it's a really, really good skill to practice and use. Okay, so we know that conjunctions are the glue within sentences which join two main ideas together or two clauses together. Okay. Now I've been practicing my drawing with a guy called Rob Bidoff, who's absolutely fantastic, and I'd like to introduce you to SPaG. This is SPaG. Now we can see that SPaG's a little bit unhappy today, but he's got a great friend, Bill. Bill's trying to cheer him up. Let's see if we can write a sentence about SPaG and Bill. Okay, so SPaG was unhappy. If I leave that clause alone, okay, it makes sense. I'm not going to add a conjunction in yet. So SPaG is my subject, okay, was acts as my verb, and he's feeling a little bit sad, he's on his own. That makes sense on its own, that's our clause, okay? So I'm going to use the conjunction although. Okay, so my conjunction is going to join my two ideas together. Okay, my other clause is going to be about Bill. So Bill tried to cheer him up. So SPaG was unhappy although Bill tried to cheer him up. So what we'll do, just get my rubber, edit my sentence, take off that full stop, and I'm going to pop although in. That's going to act as my glue. It's going to join the two ideas together, extends my sentence, makes it sound more interesting, and gives us a little bit more detail about what's going on. Okay, so SPaG was unhappy although Bill tried to cheer him up. Okay, so although is my conjunction, it's my glue. Here is one clause, Steg was unhappy. If I was to use that as a sentence on its own, put full stop at the end, that would make sense. Okay. Here's my other clause, which although is joining this first clause too. Here's my second clause, Bill tried to cheer him up. Again, if I was to take that out of this sentence, that would make sense on its own. You could say it. Bill tried to cheer him up. If you put a full stop there, it makes sense, it's clear. Although acts as a glue and joins two clauses together, two main sentences together, it makes them more complex, makes it sound more interesting. Okay? Okay, then year 3, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to write you a sentence, and I want you to see if you can identify the subordinated conjunction that I've used. Remember to use the acronym to help you. I saw a wabub, and that will help you identify it. The eager pupils sped into class when the bell rang. Okay, so what I want you to do, I want you to read this sentence with your parents or somebody at home, and I'd like you to pause the video and see if you can identify the subordinating conjunction. Okay, so pause the video now and see if you can spot it. Okay guys, how did you get on? Did you manage to find that subordinated conjunction? Did you think about the two different clauses within this sentence? Did you find the conjunction when? If you did, well done, doing a great job. Okay, let's just double check this sentence then. The eager pupils sped into class, that's my main clause. Okay, when, that's my subordinated conjunction, and here's my subordinate clause, the bell rang. Remember, if I took the bell rang out and wrote it on its own, that would still make sense, as long as I've got a capital letter and a full stop. Okay, so that is a clause on its own. The eager pupil sped into class. If I took that away from the rest of this and just put a full stop at the end, again that would make sense on its own. So subordinating conjunctions join together two independent clauses. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get a little picture up for you. What I'd like you to try and do is have a go at writing some sentences of your own. Okay, then year 3, here's a picture of a dog waiting to eat his food. What I'm going to do is I'm going to model a sentence to you using subordinate conjunction, and then what I want you to do is to have a go at doing this at home with a parent, on a piece of paper, pencil, however you want to do it really. Okay, so here's my sentence, remembering that subordinate conjunctions join two main clauses together. Okay, so I'm going to think about my first main clause. My first main clause is going to be the dog waited. Remember, that would make sense on its own if I just put a full stop at the end of a sentence. The dog waited. Okay, so I need to make sure I got my main clause sorted. It makes sense on its own if I was just to put a full stop at the end. But subordinate conjunctions are used to extend our sentences. Let's see, a conjunction I could use. The dog waited until, I'm going to use this one here, until the owner filled the bowl with food. Okay, so until is the conjunction I decided to use. The dog waited is a clause on its own. I could put a full stop at the end to make a sentence, so a clause is a sentence. the owner filled the bowl with food. If I was to put a capital letter here at the and a full stop there, again that would be independent. That would be a sentence, a clause on its own. Our conjunctions join two main clauses together. The dog waited until the owner filled the bowl with food. Okay, what I'd like you to do, use this picture. If you want to use a different picture, that's completely fine, that's up to you, okay? See if you can use some of these subordinated conjunctions to extend your sentences. Thinking about making sure that your clauses are independent, okay, so they would make sense as a sentence on their own, and then see if you can extend them using one of these conjunctions, okay? Okay then, year 3, how did you get on? Could you use subordinate conjunctions to join two main clauses together, to join two ideas? I hope you did. I hope you enjoyed doing that. On the school website there'll be some activities for you to do and a link for you to follow with a few more online tutorials and things like that. Remember, I saw what Bob. This is really good to get more detail into your writing and really take you to that next level, that next step. So keep up the great work, and I'll speak to you again soon. Thanks.